Hey guys, time once again for another episode of Day in the Life of Vinci's Classic Specialist. So Thursday, pretty much here by myself all day except for later in the afternoon when Mr. Jacob came over. And so let's start in with what I did today. I'm having so much fun working on this car, but I resisted temptation to put that killer exhaust on it and the rear T-bars and all this stuff that I thought would have been super fun. Resisted temptation and didn't touch this car today. But I did stare at it a lot, especially that engine, because holy smokes, this thing is making me so happy. I'm kind of a simple guy like that. What can I say? Anyway, so what I did work on is decided I should get back to the 63 ragtop here. So this is a super nice car. So I had put the transmission in it previously, and the transmission mounts were all bolted up and everything. So, you know, the rear, the front ones, but the axles weren't bolted in. Pretty much nothing else was done except for the transmission was like stuck in there. So today I decided to go ahead and start, trying to actually build out the back of the car here. So pretty much what I did was I took the hardware which I had previously restored and attached the axles to the spring plates, and then a little tight here. I cleaned up these things, the little mounts for the rubber snubbers that limit the suspension by hitting this little stop here. So sandblasted those and then painted them. And then the backing plates themselves, which I had previously had powder coated, those were pretty much ready to go. But then the bearing caps here were just all greasy and nasty. They still had the old seals in. So cleaned those up and got those looking good and put in the new seals. And then went ahead and assembled this whole assembly here with the, all the O-rings and gaskets and sealant and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all together on both sides. I won't bother showing the other side because it looks exactly like that. So, but yeah, those are pretty much ready now to have the brakes built out on them. And let's see, speaking of the brakes, I also went and restored a bunch of other brake parts here. So all the levers and stuff like that for the e-brake and stuff like that, pretty much went and restored all that stuff. It was all greasy and gross and everything like that. So those are good as new now, ready to go on. So, sandblasted all this stuff and got it looking good. So his brakes are gonna look really, really nice under the drum. No one will see it, but again, that doesn't keep us from wanting to make things look incredible. So they'll look incredible, just no one will see it except people watching this video when it's done. What else? The other thing that I did today for this car was, I don't remember, those of you that are regulars here remember me mentioning this car. When it came in, it had an old school Empi Camber compensator on it. You can look that up if you're not sure what it is, but in a nutshell, it's kind of the opposite of a sway bar. So Beetles, they tend to have a couple handling issues, especially when they're at stock height. One is they can be a little tail happy. The back end of the car can come around if you're not a well-seasoned driver. And then the other thing is, in a turn, the inner wheel can actually tuck underneath the car pretty much, or excuse me, the outer wheel can actually tuck under the car in a high-speed turn, and the car can actually roll over. So lots of Beetles throughout the years have rolled over for that reason. And so the Camber compensator, which is this thing, prevents that from happening, and generally speaking makes the cars handle better, the rear suspension. So anyway, Empi, back in the day, I think some Porsches were actually, some 356s I think might have been coming with this, with one like this. And so Empi went and saw an opportunity to put these on Volkswagens because basically the rear suspension is the same, and so they made a camber compensator specific to the Beetle, and so that's what you see here. So this thing was also all gross and nasty and covered in grease and grime and disgusting. So I completely disassembled it, degreased it, sanded it, and then finally painted it and then reassembled it. So yeah, this thing is very cool. Came out really nice. Looks really good. It's gonna look great underneath the car. And so you can see here, this center bit that I'm holding here mounts to the transmission pretty much right under the differential. And then these hoops on both ends pick up the axle tubes. And then this thing can kind of pivot on this center bolt here. And there's a big rubber bushing in there. So that's how that thing works. So that's a camber compensator. So if you didn't know what it is, now you kind of do. Anyhow, so yeah, that was pretty much my day. Cleaning parts mostly, and restoring parts, and then some assembly here on the car. So I think I'm probably going to continue on this one. I want to have the back of this car pretty much done so that when the motor comes in, the lung block comes in, I can build that because all the powder coating and stuff for the motor is done. And then the owner supplied a lot of the parts for it, like the carburetor and stuff, already rebuilt. So once the lung block comes in, the motor is going to go together really fast. And so I want the car to be ready so that when the motor comes in, pretty much put the motor together and then boom, it goes in, and you know, do my best to get this car back to its owner for him to enjoy. And so yeah, I think tomorrow I'll probably be working on this and try and finish up assembling the rear brakes and stuff like that, and again pretty much get the car ready for the motor to go in so that when the motor's done, it can go in. So that is almost it for today. Jacob was in for a while today, and he finished the wiring on his motor here, so he's got his alternator all wired up, and I think that was the only wiring that was left. And then in the front of the car, he installed the switches. So the switches were already wired, but they weren't attached to the dash. So he went ahead and got those all attached in there. And yeah, I think his wiring is almost done. I think he's got to attach or wire up his flasher relay. And then pretty much we need to hook his battery up and start testing out the various electrical functions on this car. And hopefully everything will be working good. If not, we'll troubleshoot it and get it all working good. So that now for real is it for today, guys. So I'm going to leave you with this because I like looking at it, and hopefully you do too. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.